Hey all, welcome back to the channel. I am the Evesham Gamer, Peg, and today's video, this video is actually a video response to none other than the man himself, Retro Import Gamer James. And that BR is the total collection breakdown. Really interesting video, actually. Now, I gotta say, I saw a comment that he responded to someone on that video. James wanted to pretty much just saying, it's not about the value, etc., or what have you, or the amount that someone's got. So I just want to reiterate what he said there in response to that person, which this is not a, oh, look at me, look what I've got, oh, I'm this and I'm that. It's nothing about that. And the reason why I found his video interesting, because it's interesting to know what people have actually got. I know a handful of people personally, and I mean really personally, not people like I know personally Feed Me Chicken. I know virtually personally, Game Zone Bird Room James, and obviously there's some other people that I have met, but I don't know anything about their collections, about what they've got, etc. And obviously YouTube can show you stuff that doesn't quite show you the full amount of what people have got. Now, I ain't going to mention any of these grifters. There are some big grifters out there in the UK, grifter YouTubers that have a vast amount of stuff, which I think is pretty obvious. Others are quite well known, and you still can't tell. But really, it's a bit of a 50-50. You don't really know what someone's got. So that's why I think it's good that people are talking about what their collections. Um, Myself, my collection was never big. It only started to grow, I think, around about 2015. And we all have different tastes. So, for example, James, and I'll put a link to his video. Try and add it right at the very end of this video, actually. But if not, there'll be a link description. Um, but we've all got our own likes and our dislikes. So, for example, for me, like not a dislike. Actually, let's just say likes and unobtainables. So, like a 3DO, Neo Geo MVS, like James has got a CDI, Atari Jaguar, just some of the more obscure and more expensive stuff. Mega CD, for example. Again, lots of people don't have that because it's too expensive. It's not accessible anymore. Why emulation is great. A lot of these emulation devices, if you want to play those games on those systems. But for people like myself that have kind of got there in the right time, um, it's and also ADHD doesn't help because that whole dopamine hit thing. Really, for me, it's incredible. Sometimes it really is unavoidable, and I just cannot stop myself. Um, but yeah, I digress. It's really difficult. It's different for everyone and everyone's likes, and that's why I've already got my stuff collated. I use an app called Gameye. Don't know if you're familiar with Gameye. I'll show you what it looks like if you can see now. But there's Gameye. Okay. Um, I have to say this isn't exactly up to date. There are I can't say how much or how little there is that I haven't been able to add to this, not in the databases. Now, my only advice if you use Gameye or want to use Gameye is to try not to base your prices or look at the prices on there that it says under price delta as to what your games are actually worth, or peripherals or systems. It can be quite substantially different. A lot of this information on this is based on Price Runner, which is based upon eBay, what eBay sales, um, and a lot of that is United States. So you might see something like there's a few games on mine that are like saying they're like for example, the red box Super Mario World for the Super Nintendo. It's like 140 quid, 160 quid. on here, and I know that that's not the correct price. But for the vast majority of things, it's pretty good. It would be nice if they're the guys that created this could actually use CEX as a guide. That would be something. But then CEX itself isn't perfect. I mean, you look at most of the prices online on eBay, stuff sold. CEX are actually pretty good getting their prices right. But obviously, with CEX, you have to go to the shop first and have a look at the items yourself. If you don't, then obviously it is what is known as the CEX lottery. So, might see sitting in front of me. So I've got my Steam Deck at the moment. Well, trying. This is for another story, but I will say, just get Sonic Mania Mega Mix running on this, and I haven't managed to figure it out yet. I've been doing loads of jiggery pokery, working on my PC, and you will see some gameplay footage of that coming up very, very soon. Next week, maybe next couple of days. I don't know. See, so move that out of the way. Get into it. Let's get into what we've got then. Okay, so this is pretty much me just going to read it out to you, and it's early in the week for this. I think you'll agree. On the pop. I've only got two though. I'd say three. I've got two. So, um, so Gameye, free to download. They're actually currently working on a system so that you can then export this, or at least it syncs with the website. But for now, on your app, available for iOS, Android. It's very handy for you to check if you can't remember what you've got. You go and see what you've got, so you don't buy the same thing again. In which case, you might be after the same thing, but say a box complete version of it. I don't know. So we're going to go through, and one system is not on this yet. I haven't added it yet. By all accounts, by looks of it, I looked at it today. That is the Philips G7000, also known as Magnavox Odyssey 2. The video pack games. I've got about, I think, 6 to 10 different ones, but I can't remember what. And on the Gameye app, they're all in the United States. So, but I will just add a 6, for example, to the total amount, which will be at the end of this video. Pardon me. Right. So let's clear platform filter, as I've just done. Filter to console, and we will start off with the Atari 2600. I have a grand total of 11 games for the Atari 2600. I'm not a collector of the Atari 2600. It was just one of these came up, and I was like, okay, I'll have that. And all the games that with it are in this list. So 11 games for the Atari 2600. Let's go to refine, clear platform filter. I'm going to keep reading that every time. And now we're going to go to the next one. This Atari 7800, one game. I'm not going to get it, but I'm going to talk about it very briefly. That's Tiger Heli on the 7800. And should I say ironically, coincidentally, James is the one that did a video about this game, and I ended up buying it because I thought for some weird reason it would work in a 2600. So therefore, I have a sealed copy, and it's probably never ever going to get used. So it's therefore sitting there waiting, purely there just as a talking piece. You can actually see it. You can see it right there. See, yeah. And in the hope that it might increase in value. I guess that's the only reason I'm keeping it. There's no other reason. I want to play it though, so I might have to emulate. So I've played it. Right. So the next one is the Microsoft Xbox. That's the original Xbox. For the Microsoft Xbox, I have a minute, I change this. So that platform again. Microsoft Xbox. I have 76 games for the original Microsoft Xbox. There's some bangers in there, I tell you. Love to talk about different ones that are my favourites, but that's not what this video is about. This is all about totals. It's all about sums. Right. And Then the next one, which I think you can guess what that's going to be next, the Microsoft Xbox 360. I'm somewhat embarrassed about this because this isn't the total amount either. Does not include collector's edition, okay, or limited editions. This is just single games, okay. Just single, just standard fare games. Oh, got something cool, but I pulled my bloody muscles in my back earlier. What I did was do this. I stretched up. You know, I can't go any higher at the moment. It fucking hurts. Seemed like it does it, but now I'll just relax a little bit. Yeah. Anyway, 1024 Xbox 360 games. Each one of those is a unique game. If I consider and take into the fact that I've got another 20 or 30 doubles on the 360, which I'm not going to take into consideration here, but collector's editions, etc., I can't include them. I really can't, because I don't know how many I've got. I've got loads. Like, what we got up here? There's no 360 stuff up there, but there is stuff in there. Like, for example, the Iron Sky Invasion Gotterdammerung edition, Killer 7 Fan edition, just to name a couple. So can't include those. So, but let's just take it as it is. What's on this app? I'll give you. I've got the grand total already. So that's the Xbox 360. Then we've got the Xbox One. Again, this doesn't include collector's editions. For example, Doom Eternal. What else we got up here? SpongeBob SquarePants, Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated Fun Edition, and Biomutant Collector's Edition. It doesn't include those, okay? This is just standard games. That is 203 Xbox One games. Yeah. I'm sure you can guess what's coming next. So that is the Xbox Series X. I have, and this again, this doesn't include collector's editions like Doom the Dark Ages. But there's 40, and I know I've got a bit more than that. Well, some games aren't actually the app for the UK, only the US, and I don't like adding US stuff. Oh look, I looked there. I've got King of Fighters XB. What's that? At 15? Yeah. That's just pissed me off. So, right. So moving on, the Nintendo Entertainment System, the NES. So for this, not too many, only a handful. I've got 5 games for the NES, and that's all I want. There's no really, I've got no inclination for that. The ones that are nostalgic for on that system, I've got. So next one is the Nintendo 64. We have 20 games for the Nintendo 64. Then for the GameCube, next one on the list, we have 138 GameCube games. I think it's more close to, like, I'm not going to go into more thinking. I'm telling you what's on here, okay? That's at the beginning. There is stuff that I have that isn't on this list, so we're just going to stick to what we've got in this app. Right, Nintendo Wii, 82 games. I do like the Wii. I mean, in a certain way, there's some games a bit like James said in his video. If you can look past all the gumph and shovelware, there's some really, really good stuff on the Wii. Well, I've got one. I mean, I actually never had any nostalgia with the at all. I think it was mainly down to, well, a little bit, but mainly down to the GameCube. Right. So the next one, the Wii U. On the Wii U, we have 21 games. Again, that isn't including any. Oh, it is including special edition. That one's fine. We're good there. Not that it's too difficult with the Wii U. Let's be honest. The Mega CD. Those of you that watch this channel will know that I'm part of the Mega CD Appreciation Society, as John Bundy would say. That was my really bad impression of John Bundy, but you will know that I am a big fan of the Mega CD, but I'm not a big fan paying ridiculous prices for games like Samurai Showdown and Final Fight, Fatal Fury Special. Now I know one man that's got those games, if he's still got them, and that's Tooty UK. And my goodness, how can you justify paying? I don't care if you say you got a good deal on it. How can you pay that kind of money? That's just lunacy. I can't get mine around that. But those are two good games anyway. I gotta say. So for the Mega CD, I have the grand total 32 games on the Mega CD. Moving swiftly on, the Dreamcast is the next system on my list, and I have 53 games on the Sega Dreamcast. Then we have the Mega Drive / Genesis, because I do have a couple of Genesis games. One of which I found in a charity shop not long ago. The Lion King. It was like £1. I was like, what? I just had that anyway, just because it was there. Random. So yeah, Sega Mega Drive is 148 games I've got there. A nice little number, I think you'd agree. Then we've got Master System. I know a few people that have been waiting for this one. Master System. Clean the right platform here. Right. The Sega Master System, we are at 113 games. Again, for those people that watch this channel, you may well recall it wasn't that long ago that I reached the big 100 games that I was not going to buy any more. What a load of bollocks. Seriously. Like, I think even looking back in hindsight, I think I was just talking bollocks because I would not have bought 13 more games. Some stuff popped up that I really, really was like, I've got to have that. In fact, the good thing about this app is you can change to when you hold on a minute, they added. Yeah, I can see them all there. That's just ridiculous. Okay. So that's the Master System, 113 games. Next one is the Sega Saturn, one of our favourites. I know, again, people like James and Bourbon will be pleased to hear this, or looking forward to this bit. For my Sega Saturn collection, I have 69 games. You know what that means, don't you? I've got to buy one just to make a 70. So I've got 70 then. Sega Saturn, 70 games. Next one is the Super Nintendo, the Super Famicom. I've only got SNES games. And we have a total of 27 games for the Super Nintendo. Then we've got the Sony PlayStation. Here we go. Sony fans now coming on. Sony PlayStation. I have 38 games for the Sony PlayStation, known as the PS1. Already knew that anyway. I don't know what I was. PlayStation 2. We have 163 games. Now, for anyone out there that calls me an Xbox fucking fan, right? 163 games for the PS2 are hardly. I just don't like new PlayStation stuff, and I haven't since PS3. Even PS3 was a push, but 163 PlayStation 2 games. And then we've got PlayStation 3, which is the final one for my consoles. And on PlayStation 3, I have 27 games. PlayStation. Now, I will go for PC next. That's the PC, and these are physical PC games that I've got. It is missing one, which is the Reap, which is a fantastic isometric shoot 'em up. If you get the chance to look at that, do so. But I can't add that really because it's not in the list, but I do have it. But PC, 10 games. And again, just to reiterate, total at the end of this will be what is on my app, not what else I've got elsewhere. Right. So, and then we're on to handhelds now. I Nintendo Game Boy. I have 7 games. For the held for the Game Boy Advance, I have 6 games. For the Game Gear, the Sega Game Gear, I have 6 games. For the PS Vita, Sony PS Vita, I have 3 games. And finally, the Sony PSP, which in my opinion is the greatest handheld is out there. No matter what my mind says about my nostalgia for the Nintendo Game Boy and Game Gear, we have 34 Sony PSP games. Right. So, do we want the grand total? Of course we do. Will I give a drum roll? No. Because what I would like to do in my head is have a button press here and then do the drum roll and then go and tell you what it is. You ain't going to get no fanfare here. Unfortunately. Grand total of physical video games that I have, not including special editions, collector's editions, the Philips G7000 video pack, Bang in the Box Odyssey 2, is 2,358 physical games. I said earlier to a few, that is embarrassing. Embarrassing. But it's just another marker for other people. They can go, well, you know, if I could show that all if I had a big enough room, I'd have everything on. I absolutely would. But hey, there ain't many of us that have got the space to do that, and it's still a damn shame this stuff has to stay nicely looked after in the loft. And some people are like, oh God, don't leave it in the loft. I make sure that everything is insulated. It's there's I use kind of like I did use sheep's wool, which reminds me I've got to order some more of that. Redo it again into my crates, but they're all crates and they're all stuck properly. Um, there's no damage to any of the games, and they also have a blinder to stop the sun affecting them. Let me give you an example of what the sun does to games like that. Look, see that there, it's all white and it should be yellow. It should be as yellow as that on the front. So that's a prime example. But there you have it. This is my video response to James, the man himself, Retro Import Gamer, who has a substantial collection himself. So be interesting to see what everyone else is going to be doing about this. If other people are going to be doing their totals, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people don't even know what they've got. They don't collate it. But if you're like me and you've got ADHD, you will be meticulously taking down every single thing that you have and get really pissed off when you use that Gameye app, find that it actually isn't on there. And then you have to add something like a PS4 game, which is actually an Xbox game. So, for example, Alex Kidd in Miracle World DX limited edition. Well, anyway, yeah, the one that's got all the key rings and stuff. I've got that on the Xbox, but it's not in that app, so I have had to put it down as a PlayStation 4. But anyway, wow, yeah, okay. Did we say it was 2,358 games? That ain't including all the systems, like doubles of systems and whatever else. That's just a ludicrous amount of games. Can you play them all? No, but I try. Oh, I try. As soon as I get a game, it goes on and it gets played for a short amount of time. Then it goes back in the box, and then it's just a lottery. It really is. It's like, what do I want to play this week? What do I want to play tonight? Then you got to think, most of it's in the loft. Then I've got to go up through boxes and boxes to find out which one the game I want is in. Sometimes that can take a long time. Right, that's it from me. until the next video, I've already mentioned in the posts what that's going to be. Yeah, I have. That's on Friday. That's 2 Master System games. But there may well be, hopefully, Sonic. What did I say it was earlier? Sonic Mania Mega Mix gameplay. All then. So thanks for watching. If you've got any comments, etc., just add them below. As always, I do my best to reply. I'll see you very. Take care.